Hello, my dear friends. Welcome to Aspire32, and this is your friend Dr. Suresh Shenvi here. Today, we have another very important podcast, and this is for those who want to go into army after doing dentistry. And for this, we have my friend Dr. Aditi Thakur, who finished her post graduation in periodontics from the same institute where I finished my post graduation, that is the Davangere, COTS Davangere, and she has been working in Mumbai as a private dentist, and she also has some American experience, and she has seen the world. And looking back, I remember, her enthusiasm about Indian Army because she belongs to a family where her parents are from Army. And welcome to Aspire 32, Dr. Aditi. It's amazing to have you on this podcast.
Hey, thank you, Suresh. It's amazing to connect with you after so long, and thank you for inviting me on your.
So obviously, the first question which I want you to answer is, what exactly is this Army Dental Corps?
Okay, so the Indian Army is a large institution. It has, it has doctors, dentists. It has, education core. It has a judicial wing. It is large. I mean, you can say it's a mini India with all the functioning units separately present. Like Army Dental Corps is one of the wings of Indian Army, where the dental care of the people serving in the army is taken care of, and even their parents. Actually, the people who are serving in the army, the officers, their parents, their wives, children, etc. So it's a lot of people who they are looking catering to.
Okay, so someone who wants to get into the army to work as a dentist, they have to go through this organization.
Yes.
And how is the process of getting the admission of getting into this jobs in the army as a dentist? What is the general process behind?
So there are three steps. The first one is to get a good rank in NEET MDS. Everybody who is a BDS or an MDS and is below 55 years of age can apply. However, they really prefer younger candidates because there are so many dentists, so they would prefer younger than older people. So when the application comes once every year, and when it comes, you apply. You have to have NEET MDS marks rank. It should be less than 1800 or 1500. And then once you get that rank, you apply to them and they call you for an interview. And then the second step is the interview, which happens in New Delhi. And then the third step, if you've cleared the interview, is the medical. So they do a thorough checkup of your medical fitness, etc. And once you clear that also, then you get into the Army Dental Corps.
So you recently gave this exam, and you gave it after your post graduation. So that means you again appeared for the NEET MDS exam?
Yes, that's correct. Anybody, whether BDS or MDS, has to get a rank to be invited for the interview.
I know that many of my colleagues always, kept mentioning during my post graduation that when I was trying that, RB is a very good option. There are a lot of scope there. What was your thought behind? How did you think of, getting into the army to work as a dentist? Why? What motivates you?
Okay, so because my father has been in the Army Medical Corps. He has served as a doctor in the armed forces. I've seen the life quite closely. And I think that Army is a very good institution in terms of not just your professional skills, but also it has a good community. It takes care of you even after you retire, post retirement. So it's like you make one option, you take one decision, and your whole life is taken care of almost. Right. So, it seemed to me like that kind of a decision where, you have a good working environment and you get good facilities. You are exposed to various people, irrespective of caste, creed, religion, because army is very it is inclusive. It is the only institution where you don't have quota, etc. So you have exposure to people from different walks of life, different, you can be friends with a Punjabi and a Tamilian at the same time. So it's very diverse, and the diversity of it is really attractive. Also, you get to stay and see various parts of India, which you would probably not do as civilian. You normally, you put up your shop in one city and you stay in that city forever. But in the army, you have the opportunity to travel the entire country. So and I love that opportunity.
Yeah, that's nice to hear, especially when we are in COVID, where it is so difficult to travel. But there are people who are fond of traveling, and I'm sure such kind of people who really look for opportunities like this. I had so many friends who always dreamed of it. But I do know that it is quite difficult, and as you have mentioned that the rank should be somewhere at 1,500 to 1,700, and everybody is treated equally. That means it's a general merit rank which needs to be, it should be very high in order to get the interview call, right? It is then again your selection also depends on the interview and not just on the NEET ranking.
Yeah, that's right. In fact, if you may be you have a 100 ranker, but somebody with a 900 rank might get in because they did better at the interview.
How do you know about these admissions or maybe these vacancies? Does it happen every year? Because it is like some government jobs, where they call it once in 5 years. How is the vacancy notified for the public?
So it comes in the employment news, and they also have a Indian Army website where it is published. So it is done quite well. They give you advance notice, and it happens every year around July. The like around this time, May to July is when the applications come in, and they will announce how many people they are going to take. It's not fixed, but it is definitely every year. Sometimes it is 37, or like this year it was 37 people. Sometimes it is even 55. So around you can say around 30 to 50 people are taken every year.
Okay, that's quite a low number, and I'm sure it may be very competitive because I want to know how many people do you have an idea how many people actually apply for these 55 jobs?
Yes, so actually, a lot of people apply. I can tell you this year, NEET MDS exam was taken by 26,000 people. Uh, and from that, because this year the MDS counseling did not happen, so normally the army interview happens after the counseling. So all the people who need their seats, they have gone in, and now only people who want to join the army are considered. But this year, because it had not happened, even lower rankers who could have easily gotten good seats in government colleges, even they had come. So this year, I think the within 1,200 rank were the people who were called. So it is very different every year. It depends also on the number of seats they are asking for. Like 37 seats were there, so they take 10 per candidate. Like 370 candidates were called, maybe out of 1,200 ranks.
So once you get a rank, you get an interview call. I'm sure you have personally appeared for the interview. What is the experience like? What do they look for in a candidate?
They want smart, confident all-rounders who can adapt well in changing such situations. They are not necessarily looking for the best academician. You may be very good in academics, but if you are very shy, or if you don't exude confidence, or you seem like a very inflexible person, then they don't prefer. So their main criteria is actually they want confident all-rounders who can adapt to their institution.
And what else is important to get a good score in the interview?
You should be well dressed. You should be neatly dressed. For men, it is formals, and closed shoes, shirt with a tie, belt, pants. And for women, it can be regular salwar kurta with or without dupatta, closed shoes, and no earrings. You shouldn't be wearing danglers. You should be having studs. Your hair should be neat. So it's not that difficult, but yeah, it's just to it should be neat. There should not be any casual appearance. Yeah, and they check for. You should look them in the eye. You should greet them.
So it is
Yeah, and
basically like your personality. You should be, as you said, it should be more confident. It comes as a overall, your attitude, a positive attitude towards the interview.
yeah, that's right. But also, yeah, you cannot. There's also a psychologist. Like there are about 8-9 people sitting in the interview board, and while most of them are dentists of different specialty, one of them is a psychologist who will analyze whether you are your body language, whether what you're speaking is true or not. So you cannot really fib, you cannot be overconfident, or you cannot lie. They catch you. They have been taking interviews forever and they are very smart. So you cannot fib, yeah, I did this and I did that, because they can catch a lie.
That is quite true, and it is like when you are a teacher, you know whether a student is knows the answer or it doesn't know. I think it comes with experience. You also mentioned that there is a medical fitness, and what exactly that means, because see, you may be applying after post graduation. You are in a later stage of your life, and there are young people who are applying. So, is there a specific criteria for fitness, or does it vary depending on the ages?
It is a little bit of a black box, I can say. It is not very transparent exactly to know like if you look up, I even though I am from the army background, I don't exactly know what all they check. But what is clear is that you should be fit in the sense of they check your height, your weight, and they do check your hemoglobin, your so height, weight, hemoglobin is definitely something that they look for. And the rest of it is, they do a general body checkup. If you have certain things like knock knees, and there are a lot of old things, like in the British times, when you were employing a soldier, you had certain criteria. So those criteria are carrying forward even now. So I don't know exactly what, but most people who are healthy can apply. And you should not be overweight. You should have a decent hemoglobin. So weight and height and hemoglobin is something that you can control for before you apply for the interview. If you have certain diseases, some diseases are given uh, consideration because you're a doctor. If you were a soldier, your eyesight had to be like perfect, but for doctors it is relaxed. So I don't know the real criteria, but if anybody who's healthy and is not overweight can apply.
That's very nice information, Aditi. And I keep on hearing about two terminologies when somebody talks about Army Dental Corps. That is SSC and PC. Do you know what are these terms?
Yeah, SSC is short service commission, and PC is permanent commission. Short service commission is, when you give an interview in dental core, everybody is initially taken for 5 years. Okay, 1 year is a probation period, and it is a total of 5 years. And if you wish to continue at the end of that tenure, you can again appear for an assessment. So you will get an extension of another 5 years. And again, at the end of that period, another assessment, and 4. So it is actually, the short service commission is 5 plus 5 plus 4 years, a total of 14 years.
Not more than that. You can work as a dentist for only 14 years.
Yes, and that too, at every 5 at the end of 5 years, you have to have an assessment. And so it's not that everybody who gets into the short service at the beginning will continue for 14 years. A lot of people opt out, and the other people may not be considered fit enough to continue. So yeah, it's not necessary that if you get in, you will do a 14 year.
So does the short service commission and the permanent commission, does it have same advantages, or is there any some limitation that, okay, if you don't get a permanent job, you are losing these perks?
Yeah, that's a great question, actually. So short service commission is not pensionable. It's yeah. So as long as you're in the army, you have the perks and privileges of the army. But when you retire, you don't have the same perks as a permanent commission holder. So a permanent commission person has a minimum of 20 years service, and he can continue up to, I think, 52 or 52 years of age, and they are pensionable, so they do get a pension. And also the everybody who gets into the short service at the end of 4 years, you have an option. You have to again appear for a rigorous exam conducted by the army if you want to convert your short service into a permanent commission. So if you clear that, you can get into the permanent commission.
And the exams for converting the short service commission to a permanent one, you said it will be very difficult. What exactly is the difficulty? Is it like you have a different theory exam, or is it like maybe you have to now appear for exams like what you appear for Indian Army as a soldier? Is it something like that?
So there are various categories. I don't know exactly, but I do know that there is a theory exam, there is an interview, and there's a medical again. So, and there's also the past record of how, wherever you've worked or you've been posted, how your seniors have kind of, graded you. Every officer is graded every year, like how you have in corporates. Similarly, you also have in the army. You are given certain score for your behavior, overall score, on your clinical skills and your behavior, your conduct, your organization skills. So every year somebody is scoring you, your senior. And so that is taken into account at the end of 5 years, or whenever you want to convert into PC, they will consider how your record has been. And and there'll also be a theory exam, there'll be a interview, there'll be a medical fitness.
That's amazing. You have so much knowledge regarding this. I never had anyone telling me, giving me so much information, because this question, the option of getting into army as a dentist is actually considered by many students, but the information is very limited. But the students also consider this option of getting into army as a dentist, because they also say they can do post graduation even when they are in the army. So is it possible?
Yes, again, a great question. So you, after you have taken your short service, once you are in the army, you've been selected, you have to put in 4 years of service. And after you've done those 4 years of service, you can apply for a post graduation. And Indian Army has a lot of seats, like almost, I think if you have done your short service and you you have done your BDS and you've done your 4 years, at the end of 4 years you want to do the MDS, you have to again appear for the NEET exam. They also consider the NEET exam, but they have a lot of seats. So almost, 75% of the people who have a decent rank in NEET will get a seat.
Okay, but they should be already in the. They first have to get selected, then again appear for NEET, and again then get selected for the post graduation, right? Okay. So here one thing which I want to know, because I keep on hearing this, that because we have so many branches in dentistry and many of us apply after doing post graduation, but people keep on telling that people who have done with the oral surgery MDS are preferred more in the army. Is that true? Is it true?
Actually, these norms keep changing. This particular year, earlier this was true that they were preferring people who had already done post graduation. But I think their experience has been not so good. Because they feel that the postgraduates are also more demanding, demanding in terms of equipments and postings, etc. So nowadays, this year, what I saw was that they are preferring young candidates who are BDS and who will be more moldable to their institution, who can be posted anywhere given whatever circumstances, and they'll be able to take it. They won't be entitled that I am an MDS, I won't do this. Because in the army, first you are a soldier, then you are a dentist. So if the call of duty is at the border, then you have to serve as a soldier first.
So your responsibilities are very similar to a army person. Like Do you have to do all the routine?
No, you don't have to actually be, like how you see in the movies, go and fight the war. You will be obviously, you will be one of the last people to probably be called to action. But you will be required to train. You will be required to, be, if required, at the border areas. It's not like everybody. Sometimes people get afraid that अरे बहुत सारा border पे post कर देंगे etc. But that is not true actually. You get a lot of simple postings also. Like say once in 5-6 years you will get a bad posting, and that too once you kind of become a senior. You may not have to kind of be posted in those areas as often. So it's not that you'll always be at the border. You'll also get good cities, small cities. You'll get all the flavor. You'll not always be on the border. It's not that scary. They take care of you.
This I'm sure it is like looking at the information what you're providing. It appears like you have to be like an officer, and once you get into the army as a dentist, what qualities do you develop, or what is like to be an officer? What is the rank if you get into the army after your BDS or MDS?
So when you get after BDS, you are a captain. When you're commissioned into the army, even after, if you are an MDS and you got selected, you will still be a captain, but you will be provided seniority. Like initially, you will be a captain, but you'll become a major faster than your BDS colleague. You'll be given 2 years of seniority.
And what is the advantage of that? Becoming senior, what is the advantage? Becoming a major or a captain, what is the difference?
Your pay is more.
Okay.
So in the army you have different types of accommodation, like captain's accommodation is small, a major's is bigger, a lieutenant colonel's is a bigger. So just like any other institution, you have more perks.
And what exactly? Because now is the real important thing which I believe that many people hope to listen to this podcast is that what is the general salary which one can expect maybe at a BDS level or MDS level and get into Army Dental Corps?
The starting salary is about 65K, and with the seventh pay commission, I think it might be a little more than that. So what I would like people to consider is that the pay is not just the pay, because army may pay you a little bit less maybe, but you get free accommodation, almost free accommodation. Your food, you get some ration, you get cheese, milk, bread, etc. So your cost of living in the army is very less. You spend very less. You can save a lot. So suppose somebody is freshly passed out from BDS and they don't know what they want to do with their life. And if they have a good rank in NEET, they apply, get into the army, save for 5 years, get the exposure of the army, and then they can do whatever they want with the army. Like with the money they have saved, they can put up a clinic, they can go abroad with their own money and study DDS or whatever. So I think it's a great option, because initially when we pass out, we are very raw, we don't know what we want to do. There are very few people who pass out and they're like, I'm very passionate, I want to open my clinic. Most people are like, unsure what do they want to do. So I think these 5 years, you grow up with the institution and you see so much of India, you are able to make money, you have the option to continue and do MDS. So I think it's a fantastic option. If I regret not doing it as a young BDS graduate.
Yeah, and I think it's really the truth what you have mentioned, that many of us have no idea, and that's why we have this podcast series on our channel to call such people who share their experiences, because many of us realize that maybe if we had this thought process many years back, things we'd have achieved different things. But truly it is a very good experience listening to you. You have the first hand experience of appearing for this exam. My last question also here is, there is something called as field posting. What exactly is this field posting mean in the army? Okay, so there are postings where normally there are peace postings and field postings. Okay, peace postings are like you have in Pune, Mumbai, any other city or a small city. So those are peace postings where you can stay with your family.
right? In field postings also, there are two categories. There's one field posting where you can stay with your family under certain restraints, and there is another type of field posting where you cannot stay with your family. You have to leave your family in a better place and then stay. So that is what is field posting. Actually, it is a area mostly near the border or where there are insurgencies, etc. And so those areas are depending on, you get more pay, but in those areas if you're posted, but you cannot, you may or may not be able to get your family along with you.
And how often do you shift if you are a dental student, if you are a dentist in army? How often do you get the transfer from your place?
So about 2 to 3 years you get posted out in any city you're staying, but every 2 to 3 years you get posted. But these field postings don't happen very often. It's like once in 7 years maybe. It's not fixed, but it's not very often. It's not that today you are serving in Kargil and tomorrow you will be in Leh. It's not like that. You will get a break after serving for 1 or 2 years. You will get a break.
So, Dr. Aditi, that was a wonderful discussion, and I'm sure you have answered all of our questions. If anybody has any question, you can also always mention in the comment section. But at the end of this podcast, Dr. Aditi, what is your message to the students who are looking forward for this opportunity? And even now during COVID time where it is so uncertain, what is your message to them?
I can say that Indian Army is a good option, especially for the young graduates. Not so much for the MDS, already completed MDS students, but the students who are freshly passed out and have a good rank. I would request them to consider as an option. But yeah, you should be somebody who's ready, who's exploratory. If you are very fond of your family and you want to always be close to them, then you can consider, then this may not be your calling. But if you are adventurous and you are okay to stay away from your family for a while, and save money, become independent, generally get exposed to different aspects of life, because army is not just clinical work. There's also organization skills. There is a lot of sports facilities. There's a lot of cultural activities that happen. So if you want all round development, not just clinical, because I won't say that it is the best thing for, if you're very good in clinical work, then maybe army is not for you. But if you want an all round development and you are okay doing some sacrifice, being away from family, then especially for the first 5 years of your life, I think it is a great option.
Thank you, Dr. Aditi. It was wonderful to listen to all your experiences, and I wish you all the best. Thank you for giving your time and coming on Aspire 30 to share your knowledge and experience.
Thank you, Suresh, for inviting me. It was a great pleasure to be on your channel. I think you're doing a great service for everyone. I do see your podcast once in a while, and they are extremely helpful.
My dear friends, if you think this podcast is helpful, please click the like button, write in the comment section, and share this podcast with your friends if you think it will be helpful. We'll see you once again with many more podcasts on Aspire 32 very soon. Bye for now.